Hey guys, it's Mark Huntington again with Empower Kidney Warriors. And if you're new to the channel, I am a kidney survivor. I've had glomerular nephritis since the age of 12. I've currently been on dialysis for 5 years at this point. I started off with peritoneal dialysis. I then switched to home hemodialysis, or excuse me, I switched to in-center dialysis, in-center hemo that is, and then I gradually made the transition to home hemodialysis, where I've now learned to do the home hemodialysis solo. So, in these videos, that's what I'm kind of showing is for people that may be considering it, or people that are even doing home hemo, sharing tactics, talking about how we do things, and maybe sharing those who might be considering it, that it's really not so overwhelming, and that taking back control and having control of your schedule and doing dialysis when you want to do it is so empowering. And I feel a ton better because I do more treatment. I do 5 days a week, and I have the option to, extend treatment a few minutes here and there if I choose. And doing it 5 days a week like that with more frequency, I feel tons better. I have less fluid restrictions and less dietary restrictions. So all the way around, it just really works well for me. And where dialysis is so tough, it's such a tough gig and such a hard way to live. I figure that any little thing maybe I'm doing that is working for me, if I can share that with even just a couple of people and it helps them on their journey, then mission accomplished. So on this video, I'm going to show you how to change a sac. Now, the dialysis sac here, this is the extension. So you have the next stage machine. And this is what you drop the cartridge in. This is where your artificial kidney sits. This is where all your blood's processed. Now, down here though, what you have, what you call the pure flow dialysate. Now, this takes just regular, from this line back here that you see coming out of the wall, regular tap water, which has been tested, and runs it through, mixes it with a dialysate solution, and then creates a large batch of dialysate. Now, you have to have this pure dialysate in order to run the treatments. It's the fluid that runs the treatments and pushes the blood through. So I'm going to show you in this video how to change a sac, how to change a new sac, pull the old sac out, that is, and change a new one. Here we go. First, flip on the power, obviously. If you have let it sit, odds are you've turned the power off. Flip it on, and you can expect when you turn it on to get an alarm out of the gate. Give that just a minute to fire up. And we're going to get our sac opened here. So this is the dialysate sac. Yeah. Voila, there's your alarm. That's just saying that there was a power failure. That just happens when you switch the power off. Silence the alarm by hitting the red button. Then the green button, and now I have started the old sac from draining. Okay, I'm going to pull the bin out and show you here. Now, I'd already actually drained this at the end of last treatment, and in the last video that I just barely finished, I show you how to break down the machine post-treatment. Now, this is the next step. You finish making sure that you have drained the old bag, and then by holding and pressing down the red button, you switch from drain to flush. Push it once, then hold it down. And when this menu pops up, it will say done, stop, or more go. I'm going to press done, stop, and now we see that it is flushing. That's flushing the rest of the fluid out of the lines so that I can disconnect the old sac, pull that out, and then load the new sac in. That takes approximately a minute or two. At this point, I just make sure that I have the new sac opened up, ready to go. There is a piece of styrofoam in there, keeps everything together. Just pull those And this is important. You always want to make sure that this, along with the cartridges, have these little protectors right here at the joints, just to make sure it's a reminder to tighten up and clamp down those joints right there, just to make sure that they're nice and snug. There's always a possibility they can get loosened up during transfer. And last thing you want is for one of these to come loose and leak. All right, so now that our bag is ready to go, ready to drop into the dialysate, we're just waiting for the flushing to finish here. There you go. So, once we get that, this is a prompt now to start to clamp the blue clamps, clamp the lines on the dialysate bag and start to pull it out. So right now, what it wants me to do is close the blue clamps. That sound lets you know that it is opening. Oh, there we go. Alarm here. Okay. There we go. Close the blue clamps. That's real life. You always get these annoying little alarms that you have to clear. Blue clamps are closed. Now, same with the yellow. Everything's disconnected there. Now it's telling me to go ahead and open the door and remove the old sack, which will pull that out. This is the pump here. You want to make sure you pull that out, snap the pump closed, and close the door. When you hear that snap, that lets you know that the door has sealed. Now it's time to pull out the old bag. So once the old dialysate bag is pulled out and you're ready to drop your new bag in, grab it. I like to just kind of pick it up just like we unfolded it there. Toss the whole thing in. And just kind of lay it up in the back there. Set it down and then pull all of the tubing out to make sure that nothing gets clamped and smashed down inside of the dialysate container here. I like to just make sure that I've opened it up there so that nothing gets kinked. These two green lines, you do have to pull those all the way down. If you see, a little ways away, but if you see these little flanges here, you have to make sure, and just so you can actually see this, I'll pull out this little plastic piece here. But if you pull those plastic pieces out and pull these green pieces up, you'll see these kinked little pieces right there in the tubing. You want to just make sure that there is nothing kinked there, that it isn't, sort of straightened out with the green tubing. So once that's down, you know that that is clear. And get ready to load the sack. Now at this point, press go, the green button here, and it will initialize the new batch. That clicking lets me know that I'm ready to load. And the yellow light. Open the door, and there's spots where you can obviously see and feel where you have to snap the tubing into place. Same thing with this green tube where the dialysate runs into the actual bag. And this again is the blood pump. Make sure this line is up in there really snug. Close that. At this point, your green line should be pulled down. All of your tubing out. You want to pull these lines down so that nothing gets caught. And if you've done it right and everything is clear, you'll hear it snap shut. Once that happens, then you reconnect the blue line and the yellow line, or the gold line there. So are the lines that allow the water to be drawn through the pack, which is the purification unit that's built into the pure flow system. Once these are connected and you've made sure, unclamp, always check everything to make sure it's unclamped. You never want to start a treatment and then go back and realize your treatment blocked because you just left one little clamp, and then you only find out hours later. Super frustrating. So always double check your clamps. Make sure everything's in. Your bag looks like it's laid out properly. Close the door again, make sure that tubing is out and that nothing's going to get jammed up inside of there. At that point, it does say connect the lines, which we have now done. So I'm going to hit the green button, and that initiates treatment. And it's just that simple. Starting a dialysate batch so that you can have a full batch of dialysate, at least for the prescription that I have, does 2 full treatments. So you do this every other day, and then of course you change out your cartridge each day that you have a treatment. I hope you found this useful and interesting. If you're on your way to doing home hemodialysis, if you're considering it and you have questions, drop those in the comments. It is just, it's not as intimidating as it looks. Of course, with experience and with doing it over and over, it becomes so easy, and it's so empowering to take control of your schedule and your life. So I love home hemo. That's why I'm getting the message out there. Today we went over how to load a dialysate bag. Mine's going, and once you start it, at least for my particular bag size, it takes approximately 7 hours. So you do have to plan in advance to make sure that you've started the batch in time for you to be able to start your treatment when you want to. That's all I have for today. Thanks for joining in, guys. Like and subscribe, and again, leave me messages. Let me know what you want to see. Drop questions or give me observations that you have about your experiences with dialysis. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.